Hello everyone, Sheila back again. The wool for Daggery's cardigan came today. I have eight balls of this, and it is Wendy Supreme double knit. It says 100% premium acrylic. Well, premium acrylic's better than ordinary acrylic. And the colour actually looks a little bit darker than it did on the when I was looking at it on the site. It's still a nice grey. The pattern here was 70% acrylic, 20% wool and 10% viscose. But the wool that this cardigan was actually knitted in was discontinued and I couldn't get it. That was why I went looking for the next best thing with Wendy, because this one has, you can't notice very much, but the grey has little specks of black and that in it. And that was what I was wanting really. But I just could not find anything, even in any other brands. I couldn't find anything that resembled this really. That was why I opted for the, it's called medium grey. Mid grey, it's called mid grey. So which means it's in between silver grey and very dark grey, but I'm going to have to do a little swatch before I start it. But I'm going to knit Daggery's other one first. What she sent this yarn here, which I've already wound onto from the hanks, and I've done a little swatch because this one, the lavender one, will not take half as long as this one, because I know this one's going to take quite a lot longer than what it normally takes me because of the pattern and that and the crossover cables on it. So I'm going to do this one first, and I've done a little swatch just to test it, doing an open moss stitch. That's what I've done. And the wool for this lavender, it said to use 4.5 needles, and I did a swatch with 4.5 needles and it was too open. So I've done this swatch at 4mm needles, and it's much better. And the stitch is 5.5 stitches to the inch, which is what you do with usually 4mm needles. So I'm going to do a cardigan for Daggery in that pattern, in the open moss stitch, and I'll either send it off to her when I've knit it, if she wants me to, or wait until I've done this one and send it in one package, which has already sent me money to pay for what I'm doing, far more than I charge, far more than enough. So there's plenty for 2 lots of postage if I send it by itself. But she also has asked me to, if I do any children's cardigans for like 1 to 2 year old, to let her know. So if I do anything like that, I'll probably let her know if she wants to buy any of those as well and include them in whatever package I do send. But I will probably send 2 packages because I know it's going to take me quite some time to do the grey one. And I also washed this little I washed this little swatch just to see how it washed, whether and it hasn't actually made any difference to the size, and that it still stayed the same as what I originally done this swatch with. So it seems quite a good one for washing as well. That was the wool that Daggery sent to me. And that other wool, what I was doing on the wool winder, it was very fine. It was like thread, and I wound 4 strands. Yes, 4 strands. I wound 4 strands together, which you can probably see there's 2 strands there, and 2 strands there. That's 4 strands of that yarn, and I knitted. I've done a little swatch with that just to find out how it's knit up, and I washed that swatch as well, and that swatch I done on 4mm needles, but I think I'm probably going to do it on 375 because I think it's a little bit open. You can sort of see through it, you know, you can't sort of tell there very much, but when you hold it up to the light shines through it. Now, so I think I'm maybe going to use that as a 4-ply. I think the 4 strands is actually 4-ply. I thought it might have been like double knitting, but and that's washed quite nice as well. It's not as soft as a merino, so I don't think it's merino. It's probably ordinary pure cotton, not cotton, pure wool, I mean. So that's probably what I'm going to do with that. I'm still winding I think I've made 3 cones or 3 cakes out. Cakes you call them, they're not cones or balls. I used to call them cones because that's how I used to wind them on my wool winder for my knit machine, and I just called them cones, but they are cakes. So I've made 3. They're all about 60 grams up to now, and I know there's probably about between 400 and 500 grams. I still have some more to wind to get the 4 strands together. I could have made 5 strands and probably that would have made it double knitting, but I think I'm going to try it like 4-ply and see. It's come out it's quite nice. It's not as soft as the other one, so I thought about making something for myself with it, but I'm not sure now. But I might make something that would fit me and see what it's like. And if I think, because a lot of wool I can't wear because, like I'm saying, I'm allergic to a few things and wool makes me itch. But I know the merino would have been okay because that is very soft, like different, but this might make me itch. But I might make it to fit myself, and if I don't think it's going to be any good for me, I would probably sell it. So that's what I'm going to do for now anyway, and I'm going to sit down, and I'm almost finished Sandra's cardigan. I've just got a little bit more of the sleeve, about that much of the sleeve to do, and then I'm going to do the bands, and I'll be sending her a message on email to let her know that it's almost finished and it's time to pay the piper. So that's my another little bit for today, my second video for today. So thumbs up and subscribe, and bye for now. Hello again, a little update PS to my video. I've been knitting a little swatch with the wool I've got for Daggery's cardigan, and I thought I would test it just to see what it was like, and it really feels a very good. It's right when it says premium acrylic. I can tell just by the feel of it. It's a good acrylic. And I did a swatch. I started with 4mm needles, and I've done so many rows in 4mm needles, and it's 5.5 stitches to the inch. Then I thought I'll try the 4.5, the 4.50mm needles to see how good it looks with that. And you can actually knit with 4.5mm needles. It's quite, I think it's from about here upwards. It's in the it's about half of it I've done in the 4mm, and I get 5 stitches to the inch. So the cardigan, this cardigan that I'm doing for Daggery, only goes up to 42, and Daggery wants it to measure 46, which meant I would have to add, using the 4mm, I'd have to add a few more stitches, and that might knock the pattern off for me. So I thought if I'll do it on a 4.5 instead of 4mm needles, that'll make it come out bigger, because I'm going to get 5 stitches to the doing 5 stitches to the inch. So the number of stitches I'm going to have on is going to make it that little bit bigger. It does say, the pattern does say it comes out 45 inches, the 42, but you don't know that until you've actually knitted it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knit the cardigan for it on the 4.5 needles, because it looks like this wool could be knitted on 4.5 needles anyway. And it feels a very good wool. So I would probably buy more of this actually. And it was the site that I got it from, actually, the more you bought, the cheaper you got. I started off with just clicking on one ball to see, you had to click and tell them how many balls. I started with one ball and I think it was 280 something, and then I clicked 2 balls and it come to 270 something, and kept on coming down and down in price. By the time I'd clicked on the 8 balls, it was only just over £2, so it was very good for. And I can tell, looking at it, it is tightly wound. I think that's what makes a premium acrylic. It's more tightly wound than a lot of the cheaper ones that I do knit with. That's how I know it is a good one. So that was just a little update, well, a little PS I'm adding to this video. I thought I'd sit and do a little bit swatch just to see how it knits up. So bye again.